So because I like good games, obviously otherwise I wouldn't be here, and I work in cybersecurity, talking to Mr. Aditya here had to be something I had to do. Also because my manager would probably kill me if I didn't. So hello sir, good to meet you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. and like when you came up to me and you said you had to talk to me, I was like, not many people like say that to me, and they usually like get away from me.
Well, in this particular case, believe me, this is going to happen. Okay, so you make games about cybersecurity, but not just with a fun aspect, but with an educational aspect. Tell me about your company.
Yeah, sure. So we are actually an educational company. We are an ed tech company, education technology company from Singapore. So our company's name is Kodomo, Codomo, and the brand that we carry is Potato Pirates. Now we made Potato Pirates with really just one objective, one vision, one mission, which is to make computer science and cybersecurity accessible, right? And making it accessible through delightful experiences. Right, and making it joyous to learn these things. And our entire philosophy with the games, with product design, is to make it not seem educational. Because for any self-respecting kid or adult, right, like you think that fun and education are two separate things that have no intersection. And when you present something as an educational game to someone, they will tune out. Right, so our entire philosophy with this is to just hide, the learning outcomes within the product design, within the game, right? So when you learn the rules of the game, right, we have a play test going on like right here, right? So when they learn the rules of the game, they've pretty much learned the basic fundamentals of what it means, what computer networking means, how data transmits on the internet, because everything is an analogy, right? So in our game we use a lot of analogies. So we don't use those terms unless they are needed. Like we don't use technical jargon unless it's absolutely necessary, right? So we just try and hide it within like the characters, the puns, and all the stories that we tell in the game. And I mean the people are the judge of whether it's done a good job or not, right? And we've gotten quite a lot of good love from people about like what we're trying to do with just computer science in general, really, because in a world of increasing technology, we have gone against the grain. We've gone, without computers, right? And really because, like I said, it's about bringing accessibility, and not just accessibility, but also acceleration to learning. And we can actually accelerate the learning of outcomes through gamification.
It sounds to me, I mean, I love the way you're talking to me, because me being one of the two instructional designers for my company, this is one part of what I do, is something that I keep telling an awful lot of both board game companies and people in my company, that doing the proper instructional design is necessary. And it sounds like you actually go through the proper pedagogical research conversion for your games. What is your process?
The process is very long and painstaking.
Yeah, I thought you might tell me that, yeah.
You know why? It's really not so much about the learning outcomes. The learning outcomes are pretty cut and dry. It's like you want to have these things in there. But what's the problem is that fun cannot be quantified.
Correct.
And that's the main problem. So I have always had this ambition that I want to teach like algorithms and like searching functions, right? Like searching algorithms, searching and sorting algorithms. But we never found a way to make that fun. Or rather we did, but like, it was lacking other things. Like it was lacking replayability, it was lacking those other mechanics that you look for in a good game. So our end objective really is to make a fun game for anyone. Really, because when I started this, I didn't see any games that were universally fun for anyone in the world of computer science, right? And they were all like low budget productions kind of thing, like it's not something to catch your eyes and like really want to make you learn more about the game, right? It was not so much about learning more about the end outcomes, but really about the game. So we always prioritize a good game, even at the expense of like taking out some learning outcomes. you know. So it has to be a well-balanced game. And before, when we first did our first game in 2017, we didn't really think about the longevity of a product. Because we were like, oh, we want to go on Kickstarter and blah, blah, blah. We didn't really think beyond that. So now what we've done is we've tried to build our newest game, which is called Battle Chips. We've tried to build it like a platform where we have like a 200-page comic book. Can I pull it up for the camera?
Yeah.
So we actually have this, a 200-page comic book, right? That's a single-player mode, right? And you go on missions. So you go on missions, and it becomes more and more complicated as you go along. So, and this has taken us like a year to come up with, right? Because you can see a lot of like work went into this. So this, you know, we got wiser basically, right? So now we learned about how to make computer science more in-depth and accessible for anyone.
Okay, in terms of the topics that you cover, because me being in the awareness department, some of the stuff that we do is to train people, you know, how to avoid logging into the wrong Wi-Fi, or how to avoid phishing scams, that sort of thing. What sort of everyday topics do your games raise awareness of?
So I mean, it's great that I'm talking to you, because awareness is the #1 thing that we need in today's world. Really, because like hacking and cybersecurity is not so much about, you know, some guy in a hoodie somewhere in like Eastern Europe or something trying to hack into you. 95% of all cyber crimes are because of human error. It's because you clicked on a button that you shouldn't have. Like, it's because you couldn't tell what is real and what is not. And that is the awareness that we need. So, and that's what we focus on, right? And that's what we focus on through the games. So with our second game called Enter the Spotnet, which is a cybersecurity game, that's what we focus on by teaching about the visual representation of the internet. So the board is a visual representation of the internet. And it explains how data propagates on the internet. And all the cards that we have, all the concepts and components we have in the game really drive the point home of like, what are the bad things that can happen on the internet, and how you can use it in the game setting to get ahead, right? So you can sabotage people, right? So you get to think like that as well, right? So but we don't just cover malware, because that's what the main thing that people think, like cybersecurity equals virus, right? So that, yeah, it's not. So this is so much more than that. So we teach about how data is transmitted and how that can be intercepted as well. So all the different layers, you know, the different network layers, and how things can go wrong in those things. So it's really about teaching the awareness of how the internet works, what IP addresses are, how that entire infrastructure works, right? So it's really about that. We pack a lot of concepts in the game. You can't cover it in like a 2-hour awareness program, but it's really about just having that introduction and sparking that interest in people to want to learn more. And that's our objective.
I mean, I love that we're talking the same language thing and the whole human error thing, because we do phishing campaigns for our customers, and we do phishing campaigns for our customers. And if I could tell you the number of passwords that I've got from just calling people and say, hey, I'm from your IT department, tell me your password. And people say, oh, okay, this is my password, yes, access my computer and change whatever you need. It's like, oh, you need me so much, so much. In terms of, however, the game play and the game mechanics, how easy are they? Because an awful lot of people, because they are not gamers, they will either think that they are for kids or they are too complicated. How do you handle that?
This is, yeah, you're you've hit something in me, right? You've struck a nerve. So that's the main challenge. Because one, people think that it's for kids, or they think it's too complicated. Yes, so we want to make it beginner friendly, but we also don't want to get bashed on Board Game Geek, right? You don't want to make a crappy game, right? Because then no one is going to take you seriously. So actually, Enter the Spotnet is doing pretty well on Board Game Geek. It's got a 7.1 rating right now, which is a pretty solid rating. And our new game, Battle Chips, does not have enough votes for having a rating, but the interim rating is 7.7. Which is pretty well. So yeah, and so like I said, we try to balance all these components, like make it not just for kids, make it not too complicated for someone who's not a gamer. Like just before I came to Germany, I ran a workshop for the heads of departments from all the mathematics and computing departments of public schools in Singapore. And I brought them through battle chips, and they've never played a board game in their life, I'm sure, right? Like not like us, not like you and me. So like, even through those experiences I learned as a designer, I'm like, oh, so if I want to introduce these concepts, like I have to remove certain components and bring a really stripped down version of the game and slowly scaffold that. So we do that. And when we do our awareness programs, when we do our workshops, we've started learning how to really scaffold even the game mechanics, right? And that really makes a big difference, especially when you're dealing with people of all ages.
Gamification in the classroom. Yes! Big yes. Oh,
big yes.
Love it.
Yeah, exactly.
You and I are going to be friends.
We already are. But I mean, it's good that you got orders to talk to me, because now, we're really talking the same language. So, and it doesn't happen every day.
No, okay. So, talking a little bit more business-wise, obviously your games are available here at Spiel. Where else? Because I can imagine there must be a lot of people there wanting to get these games. Where can they buy them?
So buy our games on our website. So go to www.potatopirates.game, right? You can get all our games on our website. And in the past 2 years, we've actually been doing a really good job, if I may say so, at trying to provide better shipping to all people from all over the world. So we can offer really competitive shipping in North America, in European Union, and in Asia, right? Because those are our main markets. And we've set up different fulfillment centers, which I mean, of course, is not an easy process to do, but like we know that we need to get these games out to more people. That's the first thing. Now the second thing is about localization, because a lot of people ask us about different languages, especially when they want to play it with their kids, who are younger and may not have English as their first language. So our first game, Potato Pirates, is available in 30 different languages for print and play. And it's all done by our community. It's all done by our backers.
That's incredible.
It's a funny story, because when we launched our first game, we had all these people asking us, hey, can we have it? So, I mean, the most common languages requested were European languages, German, French, Spanish. And, we're first-time creators. We don't really know what we're doing. So we're just going to stick to one language, right? So we said, here's what we can do. We created like a Google sheet of all the card text, and we said, if you want, create a copy of it in your language, and we'll release a print and play. We put that update up on Kickstarter. We went to bed, woke up the next morning, we had 15 languages, right? And that has grown to 30.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we were really like just completely blown back by how much love we had received. So even for the second and third ones, we have approximately 20 over languages for print and play. And right now, our main motive is to work with bigger publishers who can help bring our localized versions in the flesh. So,
well, I do love the sound of that. So I'm going to ask you to do just one last thing. Just tell my boss why we should work with you.
Hey.
Her name is Miriam.
Hey, Miriam. So honestly, the one reason and only reason that I can tell you that you should work with us is because we care about bringing computer science and cybersecurity, these fundamental concepts of the future and of the present, right? We care about bringing that to people in a way that is accessible and is fun and effective. That's all.
I'll talk to you on Tuesday when I get back to the office.
And once he talks to you, I'll talk to you after that.
Yeah, we'll talk to you, definitely. That was amazing.